Yeah, and this one is a competitive game where players are going to be trying to mine for different types of gems, which you'll then be able to trade in to complete different objective cards for victory points, or instead you can choose to sell those gems for money, which you can then spend in order to buy different items and gear to help you mine a little bit better. All the players do start at the bottom of the board, and then they're going to be moving either upwards or sideways, revealing those tiles in order to gain gems and other bonuses. As you move off a tile and onto a new one, you do also take the tile that you just moved from into your possession, which can gain you victory points for different sets at the end of the game, but it also means that more and more tiles are going to be removed from the board as the game goes on. Since players can only move forward and sideways, it is possible that they do get stuck on a tile with no tiles adjacent to them in that direction, and in that case they'll have to spend one of the gems from their possession in order to move on to the next space. The game ends once all the players reach the top row, but you might now be asking yourself, why would you want to rush and do that if you score points by collecting gems and completing those various cards? And there are a couple reasons that you might want to continue to move forward throughout the board, and the first one is that the players that are earliest to get to the top are going to be getting bonus victory points for being able to do that. But then also, as more players reach the top, when it becomes their turn, they can actually remove a tile from play, making it more difficult for the players that are still moving through those tiles. But the way that a turn works when you're not at the top of the board is that you're just going to be revealing two adjacent tiles, and each of these tiles will have different gems on them or different bonus icons, granting you victory points, additional dice, or even money. Once you've done that, you can move your miner meeple to any of the adjacent revealed tiles and then gain whichever gem was revealed there. But then you're also allowed to perform any amount of free actions, and the first one you can perform is just to sell any amount of gems of the same color, but you can only do this once per turn. You can also spend that money to buy any items or gear from the display, and one thing to note about the display is that there is always the persistent pickaxe out there, so that players can always buy more pickaxes, because another action you can perform on your turn is to spend a pickaxe in order to mine even more gems from your current tile. When you spend that pickaxe, you'll be able to roll your dice in order to determine how many more gems you get. The way that this works is that you're going to be comparing the dice that you rolled to the die matching the color of the gem that you are trying to mine. On the side of the board, there's going to be a bunch of different dice for each colored gem offered in the game, and if any of your dice rolled greater than the value depicted on that die, then that is going to be earning you another gem. Another cool thing about this is that the value of these dice also represent the current market value of their associated colored gem, which means that the gems are more easier to obtain when their values are low, but you're going to want to be selling them when their values are high. And these dice go up in value at the end of any turn where their gem was revealed. You do want to be a little careful with your timing here, because once a value of a die goes to 6, it can't go any higher than that, and once its gem is revealed again, it's going to be crashing all the way back down to 1. And I did mention that you can buy additional items and gear with your money, but of course you can also use those cards to take their associated action, which is another free action that you can do on your turn. Once you've done all the actions that you want or are able to do, you'll then be able to complete any of the objective cards that are currently out on display. And like I said, you're just going to be trading in any of the matching gems in order to complete that card, and then you'll be able to take that card into your possession. And each of these are going to be worth an amount of victory points at the end of the game, but they also have additional icons on them that you can set collect for even more victory points. There are some item cards that allow you to reserve these cards so that other players can't take them from you, but other than that, the only way that you can get these cards is by completing them first, which means that there is a bit of a race to try and get these. Another important detail is that each player is only able to hold 7 gems maximum at a time, which means that you do want to be spending them either to gain money or spending them in order to complete those various objective cards. This is extra bad because if you do end up gaining a gem and you don't have a place to put it, you have to actually give it to one of your opponents. But the game continues like this until all the players have reached the top, and then you're going to be adding up all the victory points, and the player with the most wins the game. And if you are interested in this one, you can go ahead and check it out, and I'll have it linked in the description down below.